We're learning exclusive new details about these devastating shootings in Nova Scotia. The gunman's 13-hour-long killing spree began with domestic violence. For more on this developing story, we are going to now go to Mercedes Stephenson, Global's Ottawa bureau chief and our national security expert. Mercedes, let's begin with what do we know about what happened that night?
Well, Sarah, here's what we know. There was a party, and we know that the shooter and his girlfriend were at that party. And at that point, Mr. Wortman began to argue with his domestic partner, with his girlfriend. At some point, they left and went back to his cottage, which was nearby to where the party was being held. At that point, he escalated and became violent. He assaulted his girlfriend, he tied her up, and she managed to escape from that, Sarah, and run into the woods. At some point after that, Mr. Wortman goes back to the house where the party was held, and he begins shooting and killing people. There's a bit of a black hole after that, and that we don't know what exactly happened. But we do know that at 7 a.m. the next morning, the police found Mr. Wortman's girlfriend. She was the one who told him at that point that there was a possibility he was dressed as a police officer and driving a fake police cruiser. That drastically changed the investigation, as you can imagine, because they weren't looking for somebody who looked like a legitimate RCMP officer. So after spending all night outside hiding from Mr. Wortman, she manages to provide this critical information, including the photograph that we all saw on social media and on Twitter. She is the person who gave that to police, according to my sources. Police then began looking for Mr. Wortman as a fake police officer, somebody who's out impersonating the RCMP. I can tell you that at that point, again, it gets very fuzzy with what happened next. But at some point, Constable Stephenson spots him. I am told that she rams him. There is an exchange of fire. He shoots her and kills her. Then he pulls into a gas station after carjacking another car, and that is the silver car that he was in at the end. And at that point, an RCMP ERT officer and a dog officer, one of the canines, pulls in. They're gassing up. They look across and realize that it's the shooter in the car across from them. The shooter goes for his gun, and at that point, the RCMP open fire and kill him.
Remarkable new details obtained by Global News. Mercedes, before I let you go, what do we know about the guns that were used in this attack?
So we don't know how he obtained the guns, but we do know that Mr. Wortman had a variety of different firearms on him, including a handgun, a shotgun, and a rifle. Now, the RCMP have come out and said that to their awareness, he didn't have a license for those. So certainly one avenue of the investigation will be how he managed to obtain those firearms.
Okay, thank you so much for this. That is Ottawa Bureau Chief Mercedes Stephenson joining us this evening from Ottawa.